So this is Baruch. I'm over here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and we're still learning Rabbi Mimran. And to me, the last couple of shiurim really nice. For one thing, it's something I can do. I could find spirituality by listening to nothing. And it's just such a tremendous idea that the silence that is involved, that surrounds words, ideas, and thoughts. That's something you could plug into and find yourself in a spiritual dimension. Over here, he's going a step farther, and he's going to the concept of Yichud. Yichud, he writes over here in part 15, he's uniting one's name with the name of Hashem. So how do we do that? I don't know if we're going to see this exactly here, but we'll see. He can explain it. He said that we have in Kabbalah a concept of a shiluf. Shiluf means that we're combining two different names together in a prayer. It appears on on pages in the Rishash and many other places. You see the combinations of names. So we could make a combination of the name Havaya and make a combination of the name Akia. So it would be, you would start with the first letter of Havaya, then we go Yud, and the next letter would be Aleph, which would go with the Akia, and then so on and so forth. And you'll be able to combine the names. And we see this all the time, this concept of combinations. Now, the reason for the combinations is that one of the basic fundamental principles of all Kabbalah is the concept of the Yichud. Is that we live in a world of separation. It's all called the Olam HaParut. Everything is separated, even man and woman who were originally created together as one body. Separate now. Separate. Everything is separate. Our lives, our daytimes, our night times, everything is separate. But the actual truth is that the real truth is that there's only one. There's only oneness. But here our job is to bring them together. Now, this is what Rabbi Mimran says like this. He says, he's quoting here from the Rekanati. I've always pronounced it Rekanati, but okay, this is Rekanti. So the Rekanti was a Kabbalist who lived about 1,000 years ago in northern Italy. They had a tremendous school of Kabbalah there. They worked mostly on on concepts that you find in Sefer Yetzirah. And there's no question about what kinds of things they were able to accomplish in this singular place in northern Italy. They were able to make tremendous Yechudim using numbers. That's part of the game. Over here, we're going to hear something else. It is known to the masters of Kabbalah that the mind of man is the source of the knowing soul, since it emanates from there. Your mind is a manifestation of something spiritual, your soul. And there is power in it to transcend and to perceive until the place of its creation. It's possible for your mind to attach itself to your neshama, to your soul. And for that, you can go all the way back to the root of where the soul came from. You got to learn how. When it reaches that place of its connection to the source, which is the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, the unlimited, the infinite one, the infinite one, then it becomes attached to the higher light from which it emanates, and they become one entity, because the nature of the higher light is oneness. Now, let's see what else he says. To the Kabbalist, a name is the specific formula which defines an entity's entire being. A Kabbalist would say that one's true name is their DNA sequence. So it is with the name of Hashem, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. This meditation is one of the simplest yet most profound ways to reinforce one's level of holiness and bonding with Hashem. Rabbi Yosef Chaim, that is the Ben Ish Chai, known as the Ben Ish Chai of Baghdad, has written his Sefer Ben Ish Chai, in this Sefer, in parts of the drushes of it there, in Parshas Lech Lecha, the following. Now, this is what he says. In accordance with the pasuk, I place Hashem before me always. So that is to put Shavisi Hashem Kenegdi Tamid. That's a phrase that you see in many synagogues on the walls. The pictures of this idea that the Kabbalists have said that one should knit the letters of one's name. My name is Baruch, with the letters of the name of Hashem, which is Havaya, Yud Kei Vav Kei, Yud Hey, Vav, Hey. So we always pronounce the Hay's as a K sound in order not to say the name. You could take those four letters of Yud K Vav K and intersperse them with the letters of my name, which is also four letters, Beis, Resh, Vav, and Chaf Sofit. You can mix them in together in a shiluf, every other letter. Thus will one receive good substance from the letters of Hashem's holy name. So in other words, they're bouncing, or they're they're pointed at, bouncing off of the letters of my own name. This is a profound meditative practice that everyone can benefit from. We have already learned that the letters of the holy name Havaya are alive and are themselves the source of life. Now, I don't know where we learned this, but certainly, and not in Rabbi Memram's book, I don't think. But he's stating a fact that those letters, the Yud, the K, the Vav, and the K, are actually the sequence of the DNA of reality. And they're very much alive. I have already exposed you to the process of knitting together Hebrew names and words. And this meditation, knitting in the mind, actually creates the spiritual reality that we are contemplating. Therefore, by knitting the Hebrew letters that spell one's name with the letters of the Havaya, one is imbued with Havaya and can receive a radiant influx of holiness, enabling one to elevate one's consciousness to sublime heights of revelation. Now it seems like what he's doing here, he's saying that this is in my mind. I should take the letter Yud of the Yud Ke Vav Ke and pair it up with the letter Beis, my first name. And then take the next letter, which is the letter Hey of the Yud Ke Vav Ke, and pair it up with the next second letter of my name, which is a Resh, Baruch, and so on and so forth, until you have the complete concentration there that you're taking the power of these letters. Now, if you know something about the letters, like say Yud, for example, usually represents Chochmah, the Sir's Chochmah, you have to understand what's going on with Chochmah. And you go on and on through this is a tremendous meditation. The procedure and practice is rather simple. He says, and we know the name is spelled, here it is, Yud K, Vav K in Hebrew, and we join together a person's name. Now we're talking about their Jewish name, their Hebrew name. But if you don't have a Hebrew name, then you can mix it with your regular name by intermingling them together. For meditative purposes, the vowels associated with the letters in these united names are what is called in the Abulafia system of Kabbalah, the base vowels, where each letter is pronounced according to the sound of its original consonant and vowel sound. Now, let me go over this again, so in case that you really don't understand, and I think really, for practical purposes, this really works better in Hebrew. So he said, for meditative purposes, the vowels associated with the letters, because if we're going to vocalize this name that we're going to put together, they're going to put my name together with the name Yud Ke Vav Ke. So how do you spell them? In other words, each one has a vowel sound associated with it in Hebrew. And these united names are what are called in the Abulafia system of Kabbalah the base vowel. Now, Abulafia is another system that existed at the time of the Recanati, more or less the same time. I haven't got the dates exactly. It's another system of Kabbalah with very, very deep, profound meditations in the same kind of pattern as we find in the Recanati. So he says, where each letter is pronounced according to its sound of its original consonant and vowel sound. So let's say, for example, we wanted to put my name Baruch together with the name Yud Ke Vav Ke. How would I spell it? So he says, take the letter base, and the basic sound is A. So that's the way it is. The base is the first letter of my name, Baruch. So he said, put it together with its basic sound, which is base, A, Bay. And that's the way you would vocalize the name that you're going to create. The Rizal explains that the vowels are the soul of the letters housing them, so that the sounds themselves are very important. We were just learning about sounds. So the sounds that are created around the silence, using the last few lectures that we've seen, the sounds that are created around this silence have to be in their original sound. That is base is always an A sound, and that is he says is not by big. So he says that they are the soul of the letters housing them. It's hard to understand that. He says it's just a sound. A four-letter name is knotted by beginning with the yud of the hey vav yud k. So in other words, we're going to he calls this a knotting, which I said is also called a shalom, followed sequentially by the first letter of a person's name, and so on and so forth. The name with three letters is placed with a four-letter holy name, and the name with more than five letters simply leaves the excess letters on, hanging at the end. Now you have to try this yourself. I don't have. Let me see if this can be this. See, here I have on my wall, right? This is my granddaughter's on the left, Tehila Chana, mixed in with the name Yud K Vav K, and the dots that surround it and the nikudos, which we call the nikudos, are the original sound of the letters themselves. This can become a meditation by which you can combine the name of Yud K Vav K, the name of mercy, the name of love, the name of giving, and just plain kindness with the name of a person. This is something you could do for a sick person like that. So let's see where we're at right now. Let me get us back onto the page. So once again, he says a four-letter name is knotted by beginning with the yud of the chavayah, followed sequentially by the first letter of a person's name, and so on. A name with three letters is placed with a four-letter holy name, and a name with more than five letters simply leaves the excess letters on, hanging at the end. Once this has been done, one can use this united name as one's personal meditative focusing device. Now someone asked me to make a prayer for their son, which is not my line of work, but I do pray all the time. I'm trying. And I said, so what I did was I sent them a shiluf, this shiluf. And I don't know if they knew what to do with it. It's not just something you put on the wall. It's really something you want to concentrate is how the letters of your own name, which represent your essence, he's saying, mix in with the name of Yud K Vav K, which once again is the name of kindness, the name of mercy. So he says, it is an excellent meditation for drawing close to Hashem and feeling the divine presence within one's very being. One can contemplate on one's united name at any time, in any clean place, for any length of time one wishes. Well, this is Baruch Fleischman. I'm here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and this has been some more ideas from the great Rabbi Yosef Chaim Mimran.